The sponsor read off a list of people who were supporting this piece of legislation. I just think it's important to actually point out the number of organizations that actually issued opposition papers as well, and that's the Fair Autism Media, Vaccine Injury Justice Center, the Elizabeth Birth Center, National Autism Association, My Kids, My Choice, Focus for Health, National Vaccine Information Center, all issued opposition papers to this piece of legislation. Mr. Speaker, I'm going to vote against this bill for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, there is no clear emergency health issue right now that would cause us to pass this legislation. There is no meningitis outbreak, and as the numbers reflected from my colleague, we have only 24 cases between the ages of 1 and 60 that were reported. But if we go further and we actually pass this piece of legislation, what we are guaranteed by the opposition papers that reflect by the manufacturer of the drug, that 1% to 1.3% of all the children who are administered this shot will experience serious adverse health effects. That's 1,950 kids. Now, out of that 950 kids, the manufacturer goes on to say that 11% of those kids are going to suffer irreparable harm or death. That is 214 kids who are administered this shot is going to experience it, and that's based upon the manufacturer's numbers. Lastly, finally, this legislation is taking the decision of vaccinations out of the hands of the parent and taking away their right to determine the health care of their kids. So I know a lot of my colleagues got up and said that the reward far outweighs the risk in this situation, but I disagree with them. The risk in passing this legislation far outweighs the reward. For those reasons, Mr. Speaker, I'm voting against this and appeal to my colleagues to do the same. Thank you.